What up, everybody? So I haven't done a little video in a while, so I figured I'd make one real quick, try to get you guys spooled up on where we're at with the jet-powered go-kart. So as some of you might have seen a while back, I was fabricating the fuel lines for the afterburner, and I fabricated them from 3/8 tubing, which could be these guys. The problem is, when you order the fittings, the little swage fittings I planned on using, I didn't realize how girthy these little guys are. And when you have two of them side by side, or in my case, I'm going to need 4 in a row, like such, on the fuel manifold, there's not enough room. They were hitting each other. They wouldn't fit. So we had to scrap that idea. So I went over to Adam's place, and he just so happened to have some thinner stainless lines, and I took them home, refabricated the fuel lines with the stainless, and these things came out phenomenally. I was actually really impressed how they turned out. I went ahead and I ordered all the fittings. Come to find out, they're the wrong size fittings. I thought this was 1/4-inch tubing, so I ordered all 1/4-inch fittings. Those are actually 5/16 tubing. So I had to go back to the drawing board. I had to order 1/4-inch tubing because it's cheaper to order the tubing than it is to order all new fittings. So I got the 1/4-inch tubing in. Again, came out here, refabricated the lines, and they came out beautifully. Got them all nice and bent where there should be. They're perfect because, you know, I made them. The problem is, I'll show you. So I don't know if you can see these little markings here. That is the location for the fuel nozzles. But this location is based on if I welded this afterburner directly to the old nozzle. Well, that's not what we're going to do, because I'd like to be able to remove the afterburner to service it, swap out different fuel nozzles, you know, experiment with different stuff. So we're going to have this massive 5-inch diameter V-band clamp, and it's going to slide, it's going to mount right on the existing nozzle. The problem is now all my measurements, they get moved back about 1.5 inches, almost 2 inches. So that's the new location. I bent all these lines according to this location. So to avoid having to refabricate all new fuel lines, I just figured out a way to just move that entire fuel manifold further back. Crisis averted. All right, so fuel lines done. Next order of business, and I blame myself for this. This is my fault. The percentage RPM gauge, it's cooked. It's just a little LCD screen, and on the back of it, it's hard to see it, but there's a bunch of little switches. Focus, I don't know if you can see it. There's a whole slew of little, I think they're DIP switches, and they have to all be adjusted depending on where you want the decimal place and the frequency of the signal coming from the sensor to this gauge. There's a lot of science and mathematical stuff involved in this, maybe a little bit of witchcraft. This LCD screen, from sitting in the sun cooked it. It boiled the crystals inside the screen, so now it's all black. You can't read it. I was able to find some new ones on eBay, relatively cheap. Thank goodness. I'm gonna order a new one, maybe order 2 of them, just so I have a backup. And I can order them in different colors, and you can get them in with like a backlit screen option. Would be nice. My fault. I'll fix that. On that note, I'm not a big fan of the LCD screens. You know, what is this, like 1980s technology? Me personally, I like the old like steam gauges. I thought it would be really cool if I can get my hands on an aircraft, an actual turbine percentage RPM gauge. And I see them for sale on eBay. Some of them get kind of pricey. The problem is I have no earthly idea how to wire one up and be able to use the monopole pickup on the engine to send a signal to whatever that gauge would be, and how to calibrate it, whatever. All right, now that that's said and done, let's get to the real fun stuff. I've been working on the afterburner. The original idea was have this massive casing, just like the old afterburner I had on the other go-kart. The problem is, once you fire this thing up and you get that thing really hot, she starts to turn blue, which is really cool, but then she starts turning tan and gold, and it'll eventually look just like this nozzle here. Not super pretty. I need a liner to go inside the afterburner, and that liner not only promotes fuel and air mixture inside the afterburner, so I can get a more complete burn of the fuel before it exits the nozzle. Otherwise, it's cool to see like the massive flames shoot out the back. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for it 1000%, but that is lost potential thrust. You want the combustion to be as complete as possible inside the afterburner to get the maximum amount of thrust. So I was toying around with some different ideas for the afterburner liner. I thought maybe if I just got another one of these tubes, just an exhaust stack for a semi truck. I ordered one in a 7-inch diameter, fit right inside this casing. Problem is, now I got to drill like 1,000 holes in it, and the holes have to be different sizes as you go further down toward, closer to the exit. I had another really cool idea, and I'll introduce you. Ta-da! This is the combustion liner from a JT8D Pratt & Whitney turbojet engine. I could be wrong, it might be a turbofan, but regardless, there would be like 8 of these wrapped around the entire circumference of the engine, and they're all interconnected with these crossover tubes. It helps the flame travel between the different combustion chambers. My idea, I'll show you what's really cool. Let's just lay this thing down on her side. Kind of trippy when you look up inside that thing, but like that, there's going to be a little bit of bypass air that's going to go, anyway, there's bypass air is going to come around here, but it's going to travel through these little holes in here. And what that's going to do, that's going to help the air and the fuel mix inside here, but it's also going to keep the outer casing cooler. So I'm hoping that's not going to get too insanely hot that it'll turn gold and all that ugly colors. I'm hoping it stays relatively chrome polished. This will take all the heat. I don't care if this thing turns black, as long as that stays pretty. But that's where we are. I've been trying to get in touch with some different welders and see who's up to the task to try to weld some of these bits and pieces. Like the V-band clamps got to get welded onto this. Once that's welded, then the other half of the V-band clamp has got to get welded to the nozzle. And I'm probably going to have to trim back on this nozzle because, one, we're going to get a lot of back pressure from the afterburner, and I don't want the EGTs in the turbine to go through the roof. But also, with the nozzle choked down like this, the velocity of that exhaust gas is going to be so fast, it might not have enough time to really mix with the fuel, and it's going to make it exponentially difficult to get that afterburner ignited, even at an idle speed. What else did I do? I don't know if you can see it way up in there. Actually, some of you may have seen I fabricated that battery tray. So now I've got the batteries to start the go-kart. And then once the cart's started, I can just unhook it. But now I can travel around with those batteries, and I can fire up the go-kart at the track or wherever, car shows, birthday parties, whatever. So anyway, I'm just going to wrap this video up now that I got you guys kind of spooled up where I'm at. We're very close to getting this thing fired up, but I still need a little bit of help acquiring. I still need some safety gear. We're gonna have to pay a welder to weld that stuff up, because I'm not asking anybody to do this for free. I know everybody's got to eat, but if anybody can help me out, I do have a GoFundMe set up for this project, try to help, speed this process up. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, share it with your buddies, your coworkers, have a good laugh over it. But anything to help a brother out, please.